Okay, now we're on to EFT, and this is just an introductory EFT because I combined it with learning how to do blab and showing EFT. I've been doing EFT periscopes every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Darwin time, so that's called hashtag Tap for Wellbeing. Love to have you join us there. But if I can use blab, which I think is going to be a great platform to use EFT as well, we can engage so many more people and have other people who know a little bit about EFT be able to contribute as well. And we've got Bronwyn here today, and she knows quite a bit about EFT. She's an EFT practitioner herself. Ben has been on many of my periscopes, and I know he's used EFT as well. And Jason. Jason also knows exactly what we're talking about, so that's fantastic. So introducing EFT, it is an energy-based therapy, and it works by tapping on the meridian channels in the body. So what happens is that when we tap on some of the meridian channels, and there are specific points on our body that we tap, and what that does is it sends vibration through the meridian channels, causing some shifts to happen in the energy channels. And hopefully that will shift the blockages that are there that are causing the disruption that's going on in our energy channels. And so when we have that clearance going on, we're less likely to feel the constriction that we've felt through whatever emotion or feeling it might have been, headache or anxiety or breathlessness or whatever it is. So we can actually relieve some of those blockages and allow the energy to flow much more freely. So yesterday's show was about procrastination. It was, so we're doing it today. We're not procrastinating. So,
are you for real? Oh, I thought that was a joke. So it wasn't. Are you saying it wasn't on yesterday? It wasn't.
I've heard about Vincent's dry sense of humour. The periscope was on procrastination yesterday, and it did go ahead. I actually didn't put it off till today.
Initially, I took it as a joke, but then I thought, "Oh, hang on a minute! What? Are you serious?" I'm feeling a little bit gullible now.
So look, guys, because it's an introductory emotional freedom technique, I'm going to suggest that we all do it for something that everyone can tune into right here and now. And the common denominator always seems to be stress, in the moment stress. So I think it doesn't really matter how zenned out we are, we kind of get in tune with some amount of stress in our lives simply because we got up in the morning. So we just take a moment, and all of those who are viewing, just tune into your body, maybe close your eyes so that you're not distracted by anything else, just to get a sense of what your number stress level is. On the stressometer, what would it be between 0 and 10? Okay, so you all should have a number. Sometimes it's helpful to write it down so that you actually know what your starting point was. So for me right now, I think I'm starting towards the 10 mark. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to go through the tapping technique, focusing on the stress that we have in our bodies. And you don't really have to stay focused on it at all. You just do the motions and let the rest take care of itself. So following me, this is where we start. So everyone tapping here on this point, it's right there. the karate chop point, we call it, just where you'd give someone a karate chop. So, and what we say, and it's good to say it out loud, I think language is a big part of this technique as well. And we tune more into our language when it's out of our heads as well as in our heads. We know the stuff in our heads all the time. But when we surround ourselves with it so that we can hear it and it's outside of us as well, I think it becomes more powerful. So saying out loud, even though I'm feeling stressed right now.
Even though I'm feeling stressed right now.
Yeah, follow Bron, guys. I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and
completely accept myself.
Okay. We do this 3 times. So the next time, even though I'm feeling stressed right now.
Even though I'm feeling
stressed right now.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
I know it sounds stupid, but just say it anyway, even if you don't believe it. Most people don't. Even though I'm feeling pretty stressed right now.
Even though I'm feeling
pretty stressed right now.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply, completely love myself and accept myself.
Okay, now we tap through the tapping points on the body, starting at the top of the head. It looks stupid, and Bron and Vin are aware of this. Jason, stick with it. You know all about tapping anyway.
That's how I give you all the feels.
Okay. Okay, so just say, feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed
right now.
Between the eyebrows, tapping here. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
Outside the eyes. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
Right under the eyes, on that bone, right in the center. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
Under the nose, right in the middle there. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
Under the mouth. And this is not the chin point, which is often mistaken. It's in the groove. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
The collarbone. Just spread your fingers around. It's where the collarbone meets the chest bone, but just spread your fingers and you'll get that point. Right down a bit lower there. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling
stressed right now.
Under the arm. So it's about this point. It's not in the armpit. It's down, as the Yanks would say, 4 inches below the armpit. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
And top of the head. Feeling stressed right now.
Feeling stressed right now.
Okay, take a deep breath. And breathe that out. Okay. Just close your eyes again and tune into your level of stress. And just note what number it is now. And it would be great if, 6, Bron, if any of you guys want to chip in and say how that felt. 3, 1, 6.
Yeah, awesome.
2 or 3, great. Any of you guys want to, Bron, how did you find it?
Really helpful, Mark. It's such a powerful and, for me, efficient tool. It's holding the intention of acknowledging the stress with the intention to reduce it. For me, that gets me halfway there. So then going through the technique, it's like, for me, it's like, knocking on the door of the cellular memory saying, come on, guys, it's time for house cleaning. Ouch. I don't want to store stress in my body. So to go from a 6 to a 3 like that, love it. That's why it's called a trade.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Vin? We'll do the Aussies first, and then we'll hear it from the other side of the world.
To be completely honest, I didn't feel very stressed as I will feel at about sometime in the afternoon. It's the first thing in the morning, so I'm waking up. I haven't really started to think about all of the stresses that are going to hit me later today. But I did notice that I was clenching my teeth. So I was stressed, but it was hidden. And I think that's a complicated aspect to this, is that assessing your stress level is difficult when you're a master of hiding your stress to yourself and burying it deep inside. It's difficult to assess a stress level. But I chose 7, and afterwards, I think it did go down. I'll say it went down 1.
Yeah, great point, Ben, because I think we do manage to hide our stress really well. And many people I work with on a one-to-one basis, they do find it difficult to tune into their stress. They'll, no, I'm not stressed. No, it's not bothering me really, because they don't have such body awareness, because they've been so used to getting on with the job, and we need to just shut that down, ignore it. But what EFT does, when we work with it more and more, it actually helps us to become more bodily aware. So that the clenching of the teeth, that you will notice, I'm clenching my teeth, I've got some stress going on, I'm just going to tap that, because I know that any amount of stress is going to interfere with me being able to do my best work. So, Jason, how did you find it?
It was nice. I wasn't too stressed to begin with, but the tapping feels good. I like the tapping and hitting on the points. It definitely gave me sensations that I hadn't felt before. And like Bronwyn said. Bronwyn. Oh, I love it. Bronwyn said.
Well, we've actually got Bronwyn as well.
Ooh, it sounds very like Dutch, Bronwyn, very European. Like Bronwyn said, it's just the intention. Once you just to take the moment to set the intention, and then the tapping with the physical touch. I know I'm highly kinesthetic. I believe you are as well, Margaret, and just being able to tap it out, keeping the intention and getting it flowing. And also, I liked your laughs in there. Helped me out a little bit when you made a little joke here and there. Definitely helped to lighten the mood. But it definitely helped me. And it's something that I'm going to try again, throughout the day when I do experience more stress levels.
Oh, fantastic.
Will you share the mini tap? Because that's something I find, like I teach that to my clients, Jason, as because it's not always appropriate or easy to do a full tap when you're at work or out and about. But I find that mini tap of, just tapping the sides of the fingers as a equally powerful technique in between.
Yeah, definitely is. Obviously, if you're in an executive meeting, you don't want to be kind of doing this.
Unless you work in the zoo.
But it is possible to do the tapping very discreetly. And Bronwyn's calling it the mini tapping. They're actually more meridian points. The points that we've used today are just what we call the shortcut version. And that's a complete routine. But there are a whole lot of other points and routines that we can go through when we include the longer version, which is even more ridiculous in its look. We kind of get into counting and singing happy birthday and humming. But there's a reason for that. That's to engage both sides of the brain, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, the right being our artistic side and the left being our logic. And so we're incorporating more parts of our body into the technique to get better outcomes. And the fingers are additional points as well. And so those points, while we're talking about them, I might as well show you what they are. They are on the fingernail where the skin meets the fingernail. But when you've got the hands like that at your body, it's the points closest to your body. So the thumb is this point. The next finger is this point. So the skin and fingernail together, right on the side. The next finger. If we're doing other points with tapping, we can often eliminate this finger. That doesn't mean to chop it off. Just means that it's an added point that we've covered, and then the little finger. And so when we know those points, and either side of the body is fine, whatever side is that you're comfortable with, and so you can use your other fingers to tap on those points. Yeah. So I can do it like this. And I can just do this in my executive meeting under the table thinking, this meeting's as boring as hell and it's really irritating me. and I can put on the happy face, and I'm de-stressing myself with my fingers under the table, and no one knows a thing. And I can keep a calm exterior and actually be feeling more in that space as well. So any comments, guys? Because I want to honour people's time, and I know that Bron and I are doing a blab. Love to have you guys come and join, come and view. And I don't know what Bron's got in store, but she's hosting it at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's 9:30 Darwin time. I don't know, what is the time over in Miami, Jason?
Over here right now, it is 7:35.
PM.
PM, yes, sorry.
And you're on a different day even as to a different...
Oh, my goodness.
It's because we're in the future. Hey,
yeah. I'm glad everything is much more like relaxed and de-stressed in the future.
Even what's today? Even Tuesdays and Wednesdays blend together.
It's amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, really, isn't it? But really love
it. CJ, love it. The Aussies are our future. How great is that? Wouldn't it be great if we're all our future all together? I think that's what we're all working on, and that's why we do what we do, all of us. Jason, I know what the other two do, but can we hear what you do?
Yeah, I am a perception coach, and I also am a perception trainer. So I teach people about how language and how thoughts influence emotions and behavior. So I'm also working in the psychological field and helping people to de-stress and overcome anxiety and depression, but also helping people to enhance themselves. So to create generative states, help people to more easily step into states of flow and to ultimately get more control over their mind-body system.
Fantastic. Gee, thanks for that. I'll make sure I'm following you.
Yeah.
Follow Jason, guys. Vin, while you're here, quick, what do you do? I know, but the rest of the people might not know.
I just gave Jason a plug there by putting his website address in the chat. So if you want to check out his website, do so. I met Jason just recently, a couple of days ago, and I went and did his course. It's a very short 5-minute or 15-minute course, $5 on Fiverr. Sorry, Jason, I'm just taking this opportunity to plug it because it was great.
No, I really appreciate it. I'm curious to hear what your experience was. And it's a new thing for me to be selling a $5 product. That thing goes for $50. So to get it out for that.
Did you see my glowing feedback?
I did. I really greatly appreciate it.
And I think that is the key to this, that here we are, right? We're in a live streaming thing. We want to empathize and understand and connect with each other. So we need to take all these visual clues. And this very short course was very simple. I even made some notes of my own. So I've got all the eyes and what they mean. And I've just got 3 bits of paper with the 6 different eye directions. So it's whether you look up there or there or there or there. So I can look at you, and as you're talking to me, I can assess and understand you more deeply. And I think for things like live streaming, this is absolutely necessary and integral to like the very basics of live streaming. I think this is, you could actually expand this into a live streaming course, Jason.
You just read my mind. I don't know if you saw my eye movements and you read it, or if we're just on the same wavelength here. But I think that's valuable to be able to communicate, teaching people how to more effectively communicate across the computer screen. That's becoming more and more common now. rather than face-to-face interactions. I mean, the fact that, you talk about how you guys are in the future, and this just proves how, Einstein was pretty on point when he said that there is no time, there's space-time, and we're all here now at the same moment, being able to share with each other just this. I really appreciate you guys, Margaret and Ronan and Vin, and being able to collaborate and share this amazing information with people that you would normally never have the opportunity to come in contact with and to learn from their perspectives. So
yeah,
great tip.
Thanks, Jason. That's fantastic. And Bronwyn, before we finish up, a bit about what you do for everyone who's viewing.
I essentially do what my clients ask me to do. Just depends. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching. I do strategic leadership development. I teach clients how to navigate social networks so that they can actually grow their business. And I absolutely love teaching people how to ferment food or medicine. So yeah, I'm a weirdo. I embrace it, and I own it, and I honour it, but I don't fit into boxes. So I constantly have these questions of, like from when I'm meeting new people, they're like, so what's your niche? And I go, oh, I'm not nicheable. That's my niche. I just don't, right? And I don't, when I reflect on my life, I'm in my coming to my 6th decade, and that's been one of the greatest joys of actually being able to step out and go, you know what, I don't fit, and that's okay. I love it. I love my clients. I have amazing clients around the world. We're doing all sorts of fun things, but it's basically listening to what their needs are and supporting them to meet their own needs and achieve their own goals. What's not awesome about that?
Yeah, I can vouch for Bronwyn's a weirdo. I call her. I fondly refer to her as a nerd. She's always geeing me up about social media. Bronwyn and I walk on the beach every week at Casuarina Beach in Darwin, early in the morning before sun's up usually, and it's just a treat for me all the time to see where Bron's at. So just finishing off a little bit about what I do now, and I work as an EFT practitioner and a psychologist, so I work one-to-one with people, I work with groups, I do trainings, and I love to write. Writing's a bit of a passion of mine, and I was lucky enough to publish my first book on chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia just a year or so ago, and even luckier to win a prize at the London Book Festival, which I just had to go over to London for. So I just love writing on the body, mind and spirit, and I love what you said, Jason, about there is no time, there is no differentiation, we are one. I've just come away from a beautiful weekend in Brisbane with Dr. Wayne Dyer and Anita Murjani. Very, very inspired by Anita's book, Dying to Be Me. If you haven't read it, it's a real treat. And that was such an inspirational weekend where all of those sentiments were expressed that we, in our physical world, we are so used to saying it's all about change, the only constant in our lives are change. But it's actually, beneath all of that, it's the unchangeable, which is the important, it's the who we are beneath all the changes, which is the unchangeable. That's the essence of who we are. And I love trying to tap into that spot, pardon the pun, but to be intuitive and to work with people at that level, to guide them to be the person they want to be and to who they really are. And we all really are much, much more than we realise we are. So I think, go on.
That, it reminds me, like what you just said, just reminds me of that that sense that we can have. I know I've had it in my life where I felt like I did this great big long walk, you know, this great big external walk to try and find someone who had the answer. And the most pivotal point for me was in actually reaching that point of almost, you know, like feeling like it was this great big circle and then going, oh, go backwards because it's not out there. It's not external. It's all internal. So the long walk home for me has just been the most, you know, nourishing and uplifting and challenging journey, but the most rewarding.
Well, one of the most profound things that I thought Anita Morjani said over the weekend, she said she's often asked, what does God look like? Because Anita's had a near-death experience and she talks about being in the other realm before she came back into her body. Beautiful story. And so she said she often gets asked, what does God look like? And she said, God looks like you. And God looks like you. And God looks like you. And she's saying we are God. Yeah. It's the I am. And I'm reading a book called The Impersonal.
The I am present.
Yeah. I am. Yeah. So it is the I am that is the God, and it's trying to find that I am within us, that God within us, that then allows us to be the best that we can possibly be and who we really are.
So we have a question from the audience, Margaret. I just wanted to
sorry, I'm too busy looking at all you wonderful people. I'm not multitasking.
There's a lot to track. No, that's why we're all here to support each other. And so Compassion Coach asked, what do you all see as the difference between EFT and EMDR? And I think you might be better to answer that, but if I may make a quick pre-comment, is that, you know, what I find fascinating is that, Margaret, you're a highly kinesthetic learner and a kinesthetic thinker. So you process a lot of your, this is my personal, you know, you talk about tapping into things and how things feel and being intuitive and taking long walks on the beach. And so these are all highly kinesthetic activities. And, you know, the interesting thing that I see about Compassion Coach when he's asking, he doesn't say, you know, what do you feel the difference is between EFT and EMDR? He says, what do you see as the difference between EFT and EMDR? Whereas tapping is a very kinesthetic activity, and EMDR has to do with eye movements, if I'm correct here. So it's pretty fascinating that, you know, people fall into, notice how, I believe that all four of us are highly kinesthetic. I'm using fall into and, you know, all four of us moderators in here. And so it's just fascinating how Compassion Coach, my guess is, just from that one sentence, is a highly visual thinker, is leading towards something that has to do with a visual type therapy. So
yeah, good response, Jason. EMDR, I just wrote it. It's eye movement desensitizing reprocessing. That's been around for a long time, and it is evidence-based practice in the world of psychology. EFT is yet to tick that box, but it's very, very close. It's actually ticked all the boxes, but it hasn't crossed the line yet. But it's not that far off. But yes, EMDR is all about, and these techniques, if you're talking about EMDR, it's usually used as a trauma treatment, so that we reprocess our story. And we do that through the eye movement. So that works by, usually a therapist will run their fingers and the person will follow very closely with eye movement. And at the same time, breathing and doing other things and focusing on their story and the trauma part, so that it does send a reprocessing message through the brain. That's, yeah, go on, Bron.
Oh, sorry, I just had to say that just one quick comment. I'm not going to say anything more about the EMDR, and I said EDMR. I think you and Jason have captured it beautifully. Just Jason and Vin, a point on the on actually reading the eye movement when it comes to online engagement. Please also be aware, I'm looking up to my right-hand corner because I'm looking up to see what the time is. And when I look across the screen when I'm on Blab, I'm also looking at what's happening for some of the visual cues on your screen. So it's less about what that is, then what that movement's going to be interpreted as from the perspective that you just previously mentioned. But good point, guys. I do need to get moving because I want to be ready.
Yes, we need to wind up. we're on another blab. Hope you can all join us on the next blab in 10 minutes' time, hosted by Bronwyn Clee.
And Mark, can I just say congratulations, your first blab, and you rocked it. Owned it.
Oh, thanks for being so patient, and
Awesome,
thanks for
Margaret.
all your help to all of you here and all the viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. How do I turn it off?